Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Actually, not only Star Wars, but some two amazing matches this week. Welcome everybody to After Action Report. Yes, I do realize we are a couple moments late. We can blame PLD or we can blame me, but regardless, we are here. We are live. We are within 5 minutes, so I still consider that a win here at C2A. I'm your host, Megs, joined as always by Nat. Nat, how are you doing today?
Fantastic, Megs. This pay-per-view had everything I was looking for.
Absolutely. Based on the conversations that we've had both on air and off air, I know that the main event definitely had the outcome that you were hoping for, but we will get into how we got to that outcome here later on in the show. And just to get it out of the way here at the top of the show, we are going to be spoiling the pay-per-view from this past weekend. So if you didn't get your tickets through the Schmoedownlive.com or you did not get access to it as a $10 patron at the Patreon/Schmoedown, please understand you are going to get that spoiled. But we're going to be recapping all the Schmoedown matches from this week so that we can keep you caught up on all the action. Without further ado, now let's look at the slate of matches that we had for this week. As I said, we had a war beyond the stars this week because we started off with tournament round one with Adam Witt versus Zach Burkett. Then going into the teams tournament, we finished out round one with Deception versus Blackjack and Danger Zone versus Midterms. That finishes out all the round ones for that teams tournament. And then we got into the Throwdown where we had a singles match between Rick the Rager Radis and Peggy Gummins. And of course, the title match between Demolanta and Damon. And yes, I understand that is supposed to be Throwdown. That is my mistake there. But regardless, it was a crazy week. We have got 5 big matches to go over. So let's go ahead and get started with this first match, starting off with the Star Wars tournament, where, again, I had Adam the Razor Witt from the dungeon going up against the rookie, the Attack, Zach Burkett, where we saw Burkett being up by 7-8 coming out of that first round. Coming in here to the second round, we see that Burkett decides to spin first, spins away from the Clone Wars, and ends up taking the Rise of Skywalker, where he sweeps for the full 10 out of 10 available points. Adam Witt is up next and takes The Last Jedi on his first spin, where he goes 8 for 10, giving up 1 2-point steal to Zach there, who now goes up by 4, an additional 4 to be up by 5, 20-15 going into that third round, where Witt avoids a TKO by answering his 2 and 3 in solo and vehicles, weapons, and tech, with Burkett being forced to answer his 2-pointer in Return of Jedi. Bounces back over to Witt to answer a 5-pointer in Rogue One, which forces Burkett to answer his 3 and his 5 in A New Hope and Who Said It, to give him the win with a final score of 30-25, where Adam Witt answered 14 of 18 questions for 78% accuracy and scored 81% of 31 available points, where Zach Burkett answered 18 of 19 questions for 90% accuracy and scored 91% of 33 available points. Once again, Adam Witt being this close and putting up scores that would beat most competitors in this league, but he keeps coming up against these juggernauts of competitors.
Yeah, I have to say I love watching you go through the matches with your breakdowns because it feels like I'm rewatching the match all over again.
Well, that's the point.
I just really wish Adam Witt would get a break. I understand this wasn't the match to do it in because Zach Burkett is a monster, but my heart breaks every time Adam Witt loses, which is apparently a lot, and he comes so close, but. Like we saw in the chat, Ryan Christensen said, big two-point steal for Burkett. Once that happened, it was over. You can't afford to let your opponent have a steal in the Star Wars division, as we'll soon see when we talk about our title match. But I do think that was a nail in the coffin for Adam Witt. I really hope he gets a win in his next match, whoever he plays.
Absolutely. But one thing about Adam Witt, he is resilient. He always makes his competitors go the distance.
Yeah, and he's getting better. He's getting better every time he plays, and that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's not about getting all the wins against your competitors. It's getting better for yourself, and eventually you'll catch up to whoever you are up against. So a great first start to this week, and we're going to shimmy right on over to a match I'm super excited to talk about, Deception versus Blackjack. There's a couple reasons I'm super excited about this one, but we'll get to that. To start off for this match, we have Deception, the only established team inside of this tournament, up against the new team for the Stars, Blackjack, Janine the Machine, and the deal breaker, Jacoby Bancroft. Coming into this first round, we had a little bit of a rough start here where Deception ends up by 7, 18-11, with Collins and Marisol McKee both going perfect, plus the bonus for 9 points each. Janine able to come away with 5 points, and Jacoby Bancroft coming away with 6 points. So a big gap there just to start things off, but we shimmy on over here to the second round where Deception spins first. Spinner's Choice ends up taking Stephen King, where they sweep the round as you would expect for the full 12 for 12. Blackjack is up next, who spins Opponent's Choice, and they're given musicals. Now they are able to come away with 9 out of 12, checking down the multiple choice 3 times, but not giving away any steals. So to where they are now, where Deception gains an additional 3 points to be up by 10, 30-20, coming into this third round. So barely avoids a KO at this point, but Blackjack avoids the TKO by answering all 3 of their questions, where Bancroft answered a 2-pointer in Disaster Movies, Janine a 3-pointer in Steven Spielberg, and they both are able to come away with a 5-pointer in Black Cinema, Janine being a big contributor to that answer, to where we bounce it back over to Corruption, who does have a 2-point question there answered by McKee, which does give them the win with a final score of 32-30, where Deception, 25 questions, 100% accuracy, 100% of 32 available points. Now, Blackjack still answered 20 of 25 questions for 80% accuracy and scored 77% of 40 available points. I'm just going to stay here for a second because I double-checked with my records and with what Frank Janish has up on the schmoedownlive.com. Never have we seen a team go 100-100 in a match in league history. Are you serious?
I mean,
this was insane.
Yeah.
And absolutely no shade to Blackjack whatsoever, because they could have easily been done in this match whatsoever, but they powered through, fighting through Opponent's Choice, getting just enough points to avoid the KO, and then forcing them to answer questions to avoid a TKO. That's got to say something about this team.
Yeah, I definitely do think we need to give credit to Blackjack, because everything that could have gone wrong for them did go wrong. Their opponents spun Spinner's Choice. They spun Opponent's Choice. And their opponents did not miss a single question. They got all the available points that they could have. And they still didn't get knocked out. So kudos to them. I think that Janine is a really good player. Obviously, she's been in this league forever, and she's going to have her moment. But Jacoby Bancroft, I would not be surprised if, when it's all said and done, he is Rookie of the Year. He's that good. But when you're up against a team who does not miss, there's not really much you can do. So
yeah, and the starting off round 1 coming out with only 11 points is not ideal for top tier teams. You rarely see that in the top tier teams anymore. Occasionally on bad days you'll see that, but in general, if you want to be up in that upper tier of teams, you want to be putting up at least 15 points. If I go around to doing a ranking of teams, we'll kind of break it down into that, but definitely not what you want to see in that round 1, but they recovered nicely with being able to stay in the game, keep themselves alive to avoid those point deductions, which are hyper important this year with the faction standings. So definitely no real shade on them, but big congrats to Deception coming out with a major match and record-setting match there as well. So very interested to see how these guys fare against their opponent, which they will
Oh
be
boy.
facing this week, which we find out in this very next match. What this is, we have the debut of Danger Zone, Danger Stan Merle, and Ben the Boss Bateman, and the Midterms, the new team over at Swag with Eric the Z-Man Zipper, and the return of Jonathan Harris, someone that we have not seen playing in the league for quite some time. We knew he was kind of still around. But this match, coming up with Danger Zone being up by 2, 16-14, coming out of that first round, where Merle goes perfect, plus the bonus for 9 points.
Of course he does.
Bateman, Zipper, and Jonathan Harris all coming out with 7 points there in that round. Coming over to the round 2, Danger Zone disperse over to Midterms, who take new releases on their first spin, and they go 11 out of 12 available points, only checking down a multiple choice once, no steal opportunities there. Danger Zone retaliates by taking movie release dates on their first spin, where they sweep for 12 out of 12, which does give Danger Zone a gain of 1 point to be up 3, 28-25, going into this third round, where Jonathan Harris is up first for Midterms with a 2-pointer in family films. Zipper misses a 3-pointer in horror, but they avoid the TKO by hitting a 5-pointer in remakes and reboots, which does bounce it back over to Danger Zone, where Bateman answers a 2-pointer in action adventure, and Merle hits a 3-pointer in scores and soundtracks, which does give Danger Zone the win with a final score of 33-32, where Danger Zone answered 24 of 25 questions for 96% accuracy and scored 94% of 35 available points. Midterms answering 22 of 25 questions for 88% and scored 80% of 40 available points.
Yeah, let me just preface this by saying that Danger Zone are my pick to win the tournament. They always have been. So
Okay.
this is not a result that surprises me. The outcome itself does not surprise me, but the match itself was so surprising because I remember when Jonathan Harris came into the league and he was partnered with his brother Alon, and everyone was saying that John was the weak link and that they couldn't wait for Alon to get a real partner. And it was fair because John was not like a top caliber competitor, but I think this match impressed the heck out of me. He played so well. He played way better than he's ever played before, and it made me really want to root for Midterms to win because I love Zipper, obviously, and the story of Jonathan Harris coming back and playing this well is just awesome to see. But I mean, it's Danger Zone. It's Dan Merle the GOAT. It's Ben Bateman, the master strategist. I can't wait. Deception is on the highway to the Danger Zone, and that is going to be a slobber knocker.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And I think, again, we were all expecting that Danger Zone should do very well, but Midterms gave them about all they could handle. Mm-hmm. They did not push them to their 5, which for top tier you would want to see pushing your opponent to your 5, but even with that, they were staying neck and neck with them the entire game, up until that miss there by Zipper there in that third round, which had he hit that would have pushed Danger Zone to hit that 5-pointer to win the match. So again, you would expect to see Danger Zone take this match, but Midterms definitely showed up to play, and they definitely made them earn it.
Yeah, they didn't make it easy for him.
No, not at all. But yes, so we do have our semifinals set from the previous week. We are going to see Rushmore against Lightning Time this week, and now we will see Danger Zone against Deception in the second match. I am fully anticipating both those matches to be tight and to be crazy to watch, so I cannot wait to break those down next week. But let's go ahead and move on over into our event, which is the Throwdown. Again, if you have not seen it, don't want to be spoiled, please shut off now. I will give you a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Our undercard was announced to be Rick the Rage Raddus versus PG Peggy Gubbins, two rookies that had some really impressive matches starting off for this year. Peggy Gubbins getting a win over Paige Fabretti, and Rick Raddus coming out with a TKO, one of several TKOs that the FinStock Exchange rookies have been handing out this year. So this is another test for these guys. So coming out here into round one, Gubbins is actually up by 1, 7-6 coming out of that first round. A little rough for both of them. But again, they're rookies, expected to have some stumbles here going on. Gubbins decides to spin first, where she spins away from Sean Connery and ends up on Comedy, where she sweeps the round for the full 8 for 8. Raddus is up and takes Horror on his first spin, where he goes 6 out of 8, checking down to multiple choice once and giving up a steal opportunity, which is not taken by Peggy. So however, she does gain 2 additional points on Rick, which puts her up 3, 15-12, going into that final round, where Raddus hits a 2 and 3 in Romance and 2010s respectively. Passes it back over to Gubbins, who ties it with a 2-pointer in Westerns, but she misses a 3-pointer in Denzel Washington. That does bounce it back over to Triple R, who misses a 5-pointer in Pixar. Back over to Peggy Gubbins, who misses a 5-pointer in Movie Quotes, which puts us in sudden death. They are tied at 17. To which we went 5 questions into sudden death, to which they both miss question number 4, but then Gubbins misses there on that final question, which does give Raddus the win with a final score of 21-20, where he answered 15 of 20 questions for 75% accuracy and scored 66% of 32 available points. Gubbins answering 15 of 21 questions for 71% accuracy and scored 61% of 33 available points. Well, people thought that maybe we were going to see sudden death in the Throwdown, but I don't think they expected this match to be the one to do it.
No, I certainly did not. I was spoiled the main event because I went on Twitter like an idiot. But so this match was the one I was looking forward to the most because I didn't know what happened. And also, I'm sorry, I have to talk about fantasy. I didn't get to do my fantasy update this week.
No, please, go on.
So I have Peggy Gubbins on my fantasy team. And right now, I am second to last in our fantasy league, and Dylan's last. Dylan in the chat right there. The AAA Twitch Tuesday, No Chill guys are at the bottom. What else is new? But this match I was so torn because I obviously wanted Peggy Gubbins to win for fancy reasons. But I think Rick the Rage Raddus might be my favorite rookie of the season. So I didn't know what to do during this match. And when it went to sudden death, this match was I don't even know what to say because I love Rick the Rage Raddus. I will always root for him to win when he's not playing someone on my fantasy team. This match just took a lot out of me, you know.
oh, for sure, yeah. It's crazy. And just Ryan Christensen, Gucci says, get them to their 5.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
it's worked against rookies so far, so we'll see if that.
Because I thought for sure Peggy had it locked, but credit to Rick the Rage Raddus, he did not give up. He kept answering his questions, which is what you're supposed to do in this match, and I think that just goes to show how important the round 3 questions are, because like they can be so hard and they could be about movies that you've never even studied before. So anything can happen in round 3, and that there's no more perfect example than this match right here.
Absolutely. And Ryan Kramer, to answer your question, I have not updated the rookie stats yet. That is something that I plan to do on a quarterly basis. So probably in the next couple months, once we see more of these rookies get second matches, maybe it's starting into a tournament season, I will go ahead and update those. But yes, I am very interested in seeing how these guys match up once they start getting more than just a single debut match. for sure. But yes, this was definitely a match that ended in a way that I was not quite expecting. So it was nice to get to see these FinStack Exchange rookies get pushed a little further than not and actually having to answer questions there in that third round.
Just real quick, interjecting. Shut the hell up, Dylan. All right, you get out of here. You're in the last place, buddy. All right.
Dylan. This is not AAA. You cannot interject whenever you like. This is AAR. Get it right. But anyways, we're going to get over now to the main event. Angela the Hunter Demolanta, Alex the Demon Damon. Second match. First match, I love the way that they described at the end of this. First match was a marathon. Who was going to stumble first? This one was just a pure slugfest. And Damon just got the final punch or two punches actually, that kind of sealed the deal there. But let's go ahead and break down exactly what happened here.
Yeah.
They are tied at 8 coming out of round 1. Neither of them able to get the perfect round. Both of them missing 2 questions there. Damon missing the first question, which is rather unusual for him, I will just say. We slip on over to, but I mean, Demolanta wasn't pitching a perfect game either. So as far as the game is concerned, they're tied coming out of round 1, which we expected, just not with those numbers. Going over to round 2, Demolanta defers to Damon, who he decides to take Revenge of the Sith on his first spin. Comes out of the round with 6 out of 10, giving up 2 2-point steals on the very first 2 questions. So automatically, we have an 8-point swing, to which Demolanta answers by spinning away from Mixed Bag and ends up taking Heroes and Villains, where he sweeps for the full 10 for 10, which puts him up by 8. 22-14, a mere 2 to 3 questions away, or points away from a KO. We're teetering on the edge here at 8 points. But the game's not over yet. There's a lot of points left here. We get into the betting round, where Demolanta spins. It would have been his turn to spin. They end up on Revenge of the Sith, where they both bet the full 3 points and get the question correct, so no points are exchanged there. We slip on over to the speed round, where Demolanta defers to Damon to go first, where Damon answers all of his questions in the allotted time, none incorrect for the full 10 points. Demolanta comes in and answers all his questions in the allotted time, but answers question 2 incorrect, which with the -1 for incorrect answer gives him 9 out of 10 questions for 8 points. So Damon is able to gain 2 points, but is still down by 6, 33-27, going into this final round, where Damon does avoid the TKO by hitting his 2, 3, and his 5. Empire Strikes Back, Planets and Locations, and Star Wars Underworld, respectively, to which it bounces back over to Demolanta, who hits a 2 and a 3-pointer in Heroes and The Last Jedi, which does give Demolanta the win for a final score of 38-37, where Demolanta answered 27 of 30 questions for 90% accuracy, scored 88% of 43 available points, and Damon answered 25 of 29 questions for 86% accuracy and scored 84% of 44 available points. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
So much here.
Yeah. Again, another reason I'm mad I don't get to do a fancy update this week. So I didn't get the chance to tell you, stop doubting Asian players. This match, it just goes to show the duality of Star Wars Championship matches. It could go, like, the competitors could not miss any question until sudden death, or it could be a drag-out brawl like this match.
Mm-hmm.
I was spoiled with the result. So when I saw that Alex Damon missed the very first question of the match, I was like, oh, this is how it happens. He missed one question, and Demolanta will not miss a single question until the end. That's not how it played out. They both didn't play perfect games.
Mm-mm.
But so I'm not like a hardcore Star Wars fan. I'm a casual fan. So I don't know how hard the questions were, but apparently they were really hard, which makes it really interesting because if these two can show that they're human and they are capable of missing like more questions than they normally would, then that just speaks to the possibilities of future matches. Like, how much harder are they going to be? Like, are we going to keep seeing perfect games? So that is very interesting to me. I think, I don't know. Like, we talked about you can't let your opponent have steals in the second round because your opponent is going to capitalize, especially in Star Wars, especially in a championship match. I think that really kind of like rocked Alex Damon's confidence, I would assume. So when that happened, I was like, it's going to be really hard for him to come back from this. Like,
absolutely.
That's an 8-point swing, I believe.
It is.
Once that happens, then you're pretty much done if you're playing the hunter.
Yeah, and the thing is, the first round here in this match, from my understanding of questions and talking to a couple other people, were a bit elevated from what previous round ones have been. So not super surprised that these guys didn't go perfect in that round. However, kind of how we're not going to harp too much on the whole strategy of this whole game. Other people have kind of talked this through a lot of what we thought was going through Damon's head during this point, where his headspace was. It seemed that there was a fairly easy question there in that first question in round 2 was fairly easy. He kind of jumped the gun without thinking about it. Misses that question. Demolata picks it up. It's like, okay. Second question comes up is a little bit of a curveball that he doesn't quite get. And at that point, you already have a 8-point swing. And at that point, against Demolata, you hope and pray that he makes mistakes. But against his caliber and what he's been able to do, it's a little bit of a crazy thing to have happen. Ryan, the idea of the mispronunciation, spelling. No, I don't get into all that craziness. I'm more interested in just the numbers themselves. But yes, the idea that he gave up two-point steal opportunities that were taken advantage of, that just set the tone for the rest of that match. At that point, you're minimizing damage.
And to speak on that a little bit, I don't think that Alex Damon played that wrong necessarily, because if you're in a Star Wars championship match, you have to swing for the fences. If you check down a multiple choice, even that is going to give your opponent like a huge advantage, because that's 1 point matters in Star Wars. So I don't blame Alex Damon for answering it without checking down a multiple choice, but that's the risk you take, and it didn't pay off for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He took some big risks there, and this time the cards just didn't fall in his favor. It does happen. However, that does not take away at all the idea of that Damon could very easily come back in another tournament, run through that entire tournament, and get the belt right back. You know, the level that these guys are playing at, all of these top tier competitors are at the point to where any one of them on any given day can beat any of them. Yeah. It's just the way it is. And again, with an 8-point deficit, again, you're just trying to minimize the damage. Damon's ability to lock back into the game and to answer all of his remaining questions correct, that's a testament to he's still that good of a competitor, because he could have very easily made some mistakes, done things differently, and completely fallen apart as a competitor, and it would have ended up in a KO or a TKO. But he pushed Demolata to have to answer questions in that final round, which, again, when you talk about faction points, a TKO and certainly a KO is going to be detrimental to a faction standing. So, yes, even though he lost and there were some things that happened that didn't go his way, he minimized the damage potential for his faction as a whole. So, overall, a vastly different match than what we had the very first time. Both of them very enjoyable in that it was a crazy to watch the skill level of both of these competitors showcased in different ways.
Yeah.
It was very much, it was an endurance race that first time around. This time it's just, can you keep punching? Can you keep getting up and keep persevering just to get through the end of the match without it getting called on you? That was what you had to do.
Yeah, that's why the Star Wars division is so intriguing to me, because like you can have all these different types of matches and the level of competition is still so high that it's even more impressive that the questions were this hard, that it made it a drag out brawl. Like I said, I see some comments in the chat that's saying like a 2-point gain is better than an 8-point swing. Obviously, I know it would be better to have 2 points to lose 8 points, but I'm saying when you're playing a Star Wars championship match, you have to take a risk because you have to assume that your opponent's not going to miss. So that's where my thought process is.
Yeah, absolutely. We can Monday quarterback this thing all day long as much as we possibly can, but at the end of the day, Damon still came out with 86% and 84 gains. Yeah. And I looked at his overall percentages. This match does not drop his overall accuracy and potential points earned by that much, to be honest. It seemed like it would have changed things rather drastically, but it actually didn't. I think considering some games earlier in his career where he was checking out a multiple choice a little more frequently may have contributed to some of that. But again, no shade on either of these competitors. They both are top tier for a reason. Interested to see what Alex Damon is able to do. He has had a pretty heavy schedule match-wise between IG and Star Wars, so interested to see what kind of break he takes here and where he ends up coming back into the league, because he can be a force in both leagues. We'll just have to see how he is able to manage the schedule of both of those, plus whatever else is going on as a whole in his life.
Yeah, that is actually very surprising to me that his average did not go down that much, because I would have assumed that this was probably his worst match since becoming champion. And I was going to say that if Alex Damon must be kicking himself, because if there was ever a chance to beat Andrew DeMolante, it's the game where he gets 90% accuracy, which is ridiculous to say, but it's the truth. So I think that Alex Damon has put himself in a position where he can get his facts on a lot of points, because he is I would say upper mid-tier competitor in IG, and now he's in the Star Wars tournament. So that I think Alex Damon misses his belt, and he should be someone to look out for. But Andrew DeMolante is the champion, and that's pretty much all I care about at the moment. Stop doubting Asian players.
Absolutely. And with that, we are going to go ahead and wrap up for today. There is no other content on the channel today. This is the only thing you've got for us right now. But now, what's going on tomorrow?
We got Twitch Tuesdays tomorrow, and you would think I would have it prepped. But right there, you can catch us on twitch.tv/call to action at 6 PT in the evening. And yep. You can also this is not new content, but go back and watch the No Chill. We had 2 recent episodes, No Chill with Sabrina Ramirez and No Chill with Sean Sullivan. Sabrina Ramirez episode is doing pretty well, but I would like to see the Sean Sullivan episode get more views up. So go watch that if you haven't seen it. It's one of our best yet. It's we get pretty wild. So check that out. New episode coming out sometime in June. So not for a while. You should probably watch the Sean Sullivan episode to hold you over.
Excellent. Sounds great. And don't forget to follow us and everybody here at Call to Action on our socials, which are listed down in the description of this video, in order to get caught up on everything that's going on. If you want to see more of us, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/call to action, where we have some fun perks over there and get to hang out and chat with us more and more. I'm starting to put some exclusive stat information just on Patreon for patrons. So if you want to keep in the know of some fun things that I'm finding, go ahead and check that out. But do not forget to like, comment on this video, and subscribe if you have not, in order to stay caught up and get notified of all the amazing things that we're going to be doing here on this channel all season long. Until next time, for Nat and the entire Call to Action crew, I'm Megs, and this has been After Action Report, signing off.